Hi everyone, this is Jessa de Baguio. For today's video, I'm going to discuss my answer for vectors in R cube. So number 1, compute for x cross y if our x is 2i plus 3j plus 4k, while y is negative I plus 3j minus k. So the first is to get the coordinate of x and y. So the value that we get for x is 2, 3, and 4. While y is negative 1, 3, and negative 1. So to compute for x across y, we will use this determinant as follows. So, I times 3 times negative 1 is equals to negative 3i. J times 4 times negative 1 is equals to negative 4j. K times 3 times 2 is equals to positive 6k. Negative 1 times 3 times k is equals to positive 3k. 2 times j times negative 1 is equals to positive 2j. I times 4 times 3 is equals to negative 12i. So next thing to do is to combine like terms. So negative 3i minus 12i. Negative 4j plus 2j, 6k plus 3k. So negative 3i minus 2i is equals to 15i. Negative 4j plus 2j is equals to negative 2j. 6k plus 3k is equals to positive 9k. So the final answer of letter A is negative 15, negative 2, and 9. So letter B, let's proceed to letter B. So our x is 1, 0, 1. Our y is 2, 3, negative 1. So to compute x cross y, we use the determinants as follows. So I times 0 times negative 1 is equals to 0i. J times 1 times 2 is equals to j. K times 3 times 1 is equals to 3k. 2 times 0 times k is equals to negative 0k. 1 times j times negative 1 is equals to positive 1j. I times 1 times 3 is equals to negative 3i. So next thing to do is to combine like terms. So 0i minus 3i, 2j plus 1j, 3k minus 0k. So 0i minus 3i is equals to negative 3i. 2j plus 1j is equals to 3j. 3k minus 0k is equals to 3k. So the final answer of letter B is negative 3, 3, 3. So let's proceed to letter C. So our value of x is I minus j plus 2k, while y is 3i minus 4j plus k. So the first thing to do is to get the coordinate of x and y. So the value that we get in x is 1, negative 1, 2, and y is 3, negative 4, 1. So to compute x cross y, we use the determinants as follows. So I negative 1, 1. I times negative 1, 1 is equals to negative 1i. J times 2 times 3 is equals to positive 6j. K times negative 4 times 1 is equals to negative 4k. 3 times negative 1 times k is equals to positive 3k. 1 times j times 1 is equals to negative 1j. I times 2 times negative 4 is equals to positive 8i. So next thing to do is to combine like terms. So negative 1i plus 8i, 6j minus 1j, negative 4k plus 3k. So negative 1i plus 8i is equals to 7i plus 7i. So 6j minus ij is equals 1j is equals to 5j. Negative 4k plus 3k is equals to negative 1k. So our final answer for letter C is 7, 5, negative 1. So let's proceed to letter D. So our x is 2, negative 1, 1, and our y is negative 2 and 2x. So since our x is already given, which is a 2, negative 1, 1, so we will get the value, or the value of letter A, the letter y. So 2 negative 2 times x, so negative 2 times the value of x, which is a 2, negative 1, 1. So negative 2 times 2 is equals to negative 4. Negative 2 times negative 1 is equals to positive 1. Negative 2 times 1 is equals to negative 2. So we already have the value of y. So we will proceed to the next steps, which is to compute the x and y, x cross y using this determinants as follows. So I times negative 1 times negative 2 is equals to 2i. J times 1 times negative 4 is equals to 4j. K times 2 times 2 is equals to 4k. Negative 4 times negative 1 times k is equals to negative 4k. 2 times j times negative 2 is equals to positive 4j. I times 1 times 2 is equals to negative 2i. So next thing to do is to combine like terms. So 2i minus 2i is equals to 0i. 4k minus 4k is equals to 0k. Negative 4j plus 4j is equals to 0j. So the final answer for letter D is 0, 0, 0 or 0. So next, let's proceed to number 2. So given the A is 1, 2, 0, B is 2, 3, negative 1, C is 4, negative 5, and 7. So find the A cross B. So to compute A cross B, we use determinants as follows. So I times 2 times negative 1 is equals to negative 2i. J times 1 times 2 is equals to positive 2j. K times 3 times 1 is equals to 3k. 2 times 2 times k is equals to negative 4k. 1 times j times negative 1 is equals to positive 1j. I times 1 times 3 is equals to negative 3i. So next thing to do is to combine like terms. So 2i minus 3i, 2j plus 1j, 3k minus 4k. So 2i minus 3i is equals to negative 5i. 2j plus 1j is equals to 3j. 3k minus 4k is equals to 1k. So the final answer for letter A is negative 5, 3, and negative 1. So letter B. So find B cross A. So to compute B cross A, we use determinants as follows. Since the value of B is 2, 3, negative 1, so we will write this, and the value of A is 1, 2, 1, so we will write this. So I times 3 times 1 is equals to 3i. J times negative 1 times 1 is equals to 1j, negative 1j. K times 2 times 2 is equals to positive 4k. 1 times 3 times k is equals to negative 3k. 2 times j times 1 is equals to negative 2j. Negative I times 1 negative 1 times 2 is equals to 2i. So next is to combine like terms. So 3i plus 2i, negative 1j minus 2j, 4k minus 3k. So 3i plus 2i is equals to 5i. Negative 1j minus 2j is equals to negative 3j. 4k minus 3k is equals to 1k. So the final answer of letter B is 5, negative 3, and 1. So let's proceed to letter C. So A cross B cross C. So the value of the first thing we do is to get the answer of A cross B, and afterwards we will cross product it to letter C, the value of C. So A cross B, since our value of A is 1, 2, 1, and our value of B is 2, 3, negative 1. So to compute A cross B, we use this determinants as follows. So I times 2 times negative 1 is equals to negative 2i. J times 1 times 2 is equals to 2j. K times 3 times 1 is equals to 3k. 2 times 2 times k is equals to negative 4k. 1 times j times negative 1 is equals to 1j. I times 1 times 3 is equals to negative 3i. So combine like terms, negative 2i plus minus 3i, 2j plus 1j, 3k minus 4k. So negative 2i minus 3i is equals to negative 5i. 2j plus 1j is equals to 3j. 3k minus 4k is equals to negative 1k. So the answer of A cross B is negative 5, 3, negative 1. So now, we will cross product it to the value of C, which is the 4, negative 5, and 7. So, to compute the A cross C, we use determinants as follows. So, I times 3 times 7 is equals to 21i. J times negative 1 times 4 is equals to negative 4j. K times 5, negative 5 times negative 5 equals to positive 25k. 4 times 3 times k is equals to 12k, negative 12k. Negative 5 times j times 7 is equals to positive 35j. I times negative 1 times negative 5 is equals to negative 5i. So, next thing to do is to combine like terms, 21i minus 5i, negative 4j plus 35j, 25k minus 12k, so 21i minus 5i is equals to 16i, negative 4j plus 35j is equals to 31j, 25k minus 12k is equals to 13k. So the final answer of letter C is 16, 31, and 13. So let's proceed to letter D. So A cross B times C. So first thing to do is to get the value or to get the answer of A cross B. So to compute A cross B, we use determinants as follows. So I times 2 times negative 1 is equals to negative 2i. J times 1 times 2 is equals to positive 2j. K times 3 times 1 is equals to 3k. 2 times k is equals to negative 4k. 1 times j times negative 1 is equals to positive 1j. I times 1 times 3 is equals to negative 3i. So, combine like terms, negative 2i minus 3i, 2j plus 1j, 3k minus 4k. So, negative 2i minus 3i is equals to negative 5i. 2j plus 1j is equals to 3j. 3k minus 4k is equals to negative 1k. So, the answer of A cross B is negative 5, 3, and negative 1. So, we will multiply it to the value of C, which is the 4, negative 5, and 7. So, negative 5 times 4 plus 3 times negative 5 plus negative 1 times 7. So, negative 5 times 4 is equals to negative 20. 3 times negative 5 is equals to negative 15. 1 times negative 1 times 7 is equals to negative 7. So, negative 20 plus negative 15 plus negative 7 is equals to negative 42. So, negative 42 is the answer of letter D. So, let's proceed to letter E. So, C minus A times B minus C times B times A. First thing to do is, since our value of C is 4, negative 5, 7, and our value of A is 1, 2, 1. So, first thing to do is to solve this first bracket. So, 4 times 1 is 4 times 1 plus 5 times negative 5 times 2 plus 7 times 1. So 4 times 1 is equals to 4. Negative 5 times 2 is equals to negative 10. 7 times 1 is equals to 7. So 4 plus negative 10 plus 7 is equals to 1. So next thing to do is to multiply or to distribute or multiply the value of b. So our value of b is 2, 3, negative 1. So 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is equals to 3. 1 times negative 1 is to negative 1. Next steps is to solve the value of c times b times a. So first is our value of c is 4, negative 5, 7. And our value of b is 2, 3, negative 1. So same process. 4 times 2, 5 times 3, negative 5 times 3 times 7 times negative 1. So 4 times 2 is equals to 8. Negative 5 times 3 is equals to negative 15. 7 times negative 1 is equals to negative 7. So 8 plus negative 15 plus negative 7 is equal to negative 14. So now we will multiply it to the value of a. Our value of a is 1 to 1. So negative 14 times 1 is equal to negative 14. Negative 14 times 2 is equal to negative 28. Negative 14 times 1 is equal to negative 14. So now we will subtract this two answers. So 2 minus negative 14, 3 minus negative 28, negative 1 minus negative 14. So 2 minus negative 14 is equals to positive 16. 3 minus negative 28 equals to positive 31. Negative 1 times negative 1 minus negative 14 is equals to 13. So the final answer of letter A is 16, 31, 13. So let's proceed to letter F. So A times the B, A times the answer of B cross C. So first thing to do is to get the answer of B cross C. So since the value of our B is 2, 3, negative 1, and of C, and while C is 4, negative 5, 7. So to compute B cross C, we will use the determinants as follows. And I times 3 times 7 is equals to 21i. J times negative 1 times 4 is equals to 4j. K times negative 5 times 2 is equals to negative 10k. 4 times 3 times k is equals to negative 12k. 2 times j times 7 is equals to 14j. I times negative 1 times negative 5 is equals to negative 5i. So next is combine like terms. So 21i minus 5i, negative 4j minus 14j, negative 10k minus 12k. So 21i minus 5i is equals to 16i. Negative 4j minus 14j is equals to negative 18j. Negative 10k minus 12k is equals to negative 22k. So the final answer, the answer of B cross C is equals 16, negative 18, negative 22. So now, this value 16, negative 18, negative 22, we will multiply it to the value of A, which is the 1 to 1. So 1 times 16 is equals to 16. 2 times negative 18 is equals to negative 36. 1 times negative 22 is equals to negative 22. So 16 plus negative 36 plus negative 22 is equals to negative 42. So the answer of letter F is negative 42. So next, let's proceed to letter G. So A plus B times C. A plus B cross to letter C. So the value of A is 1, 2, 1, and the value of B is 2, 3, negative 1. So first we will add this the value of A and B. So 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3, and 1 plus negative 1. So 1 plus 2 is equals to 3, 2 plus 3 is equals to 5, 1 plus negative 1 is equals to 0. So now we will cross product it to the value of C, which is the 4, negative 5, and 7. So to compute the cross product, we will use the determinants as follows. So I times 5 times 7 is equals to negative 35i. J times 0 times 4 is equals to 0j. K times negative 5 times 3 is equals to negative 15k. 4 times 5 times 0 times k is equals to negative 20k. 3 times j times 7 is equals to 21j. I times 0 times 5 negative 5 is equals to 0i. So next, combine like terms. So 35i plus 0i, 0j minus 2j, 21j, negative 15k minus 20k. So 35i plus 0i is equals to 35i. 0i minus 21i is equals to negative 21i. Negative 15 minus 20k is equals to negative 35k. So the final answer of letter G is 35, negative 21, and negative 35. So let's proceed to letter H. So A cross C plus B cross C. So first we will get the answer of A cross C. So since the value of A is 1, 2, 1, and the value of C is 4, negative 5, and 7. So to compute A cross C, we use determinants as follows. This one. So I times 2 times 7 is equals to 14i. J times 1 times 4 is equals to 4j. K times negative 5 times 1 is equals to negative 5k. Next, 4 times 2 times k is equals to 8k. I times j times 7 is equals to negative 7j. I times 1 times negative 5 equals to positive 5i. So next, combine like terms. So 14i plus 5i, 4j minus 7j, negative 5k minus 8k. So 14i plus 5i is equals to 19i. 4j minus 7j is equals to 3j. Negative 5k minus 8k is equals to negative 13k. So the answer of A cross C is 19, negative 3, and negative 13. So now we will get the answer of this B cross C. Since the value of B is 2, 3, and negative 1, and while C is 4, negative 5, and 7. So to compute B cross C, we use determinants as follows. So I times 3 times 7 is equals to 21i. J times negative 1 times 4 is equals to negative 4j. K times negative 5 times 2 is equals to negative 10k. 4 times 3 times k is equals to 12k. 2 times j times 7 is equals to negative 14j. I times negative 1 times negative 5 is equals to negative 15i. So next thing to do is combine like terms. So 21i minus 5i, negative 4i minus 14j, negative 10k minus 12k. So 21i minus 5i is equals to 16i. Negative 4i minus 14j is equals to 18j. Negative 10k minus 12k is equals to 22k. So the answer of B cross product of C is 16, negative 18, and negative 22. So now, we will add the 19, negative 3, and negative 13 to 16, negative 18, negative 22. So 19 plus 16 is equals to 35. Negative 3 plus negative 18 is equals to negative 21. Negative 13 plus negative 22 is equals to negative 35. So the answer of letter H is 35, negative 21, negative 35. So next, letter I. So A cross A. So to compute A cross product A, we use the determinants as follows. So I times 2 times 1 is equals to 2i. J times 1 times 1 is equals to 1j. K times 2 times 1 is equals to 2k. And 1 times 2 times k is equals to negative 2k. 1 times j times 1 is equals to negative 1j. 1 times 1 times 2 is equals to negative 2i. Next thing to do is to combine like terms. So 2i minus 2i, 1j minus 1j, 2k minus 2k. So 2i minus 2i is equals to 0i. 1j minus 1j is equals to 0j. 2k minus 2k is equals to 0k. So the final answer of letter I is 0, 0, 0, or 0. Next is letter J. So A cross 0. So A cross 0. Since the value of A is 1 to 1, and we cross product it to 0, 0, 0. So to compute A cross 0, we use determinants as follow. So I times 2 times 0 is equals to 0i. J times 1 times 0 is equals to 0j. K times 0 times 1 is to 0k. 0 times 2 times k is equals to 0k. 1 times j times 0 is equals to 0j. I times 1 times 0 is equals to 0i. So combine like terms, and the final answer for this is 0, 0, 0, or 0. So now we will proceed to the world problem. We will proceed to number 3. The word problem here is find the area of a triangle with vertices x equals 1, negative 2, 3. X sub 1, the value of x sub 1 rather, is 1, negative 2, 3. And the value of x sub 2 is 3, 1, and 4. And the value of x sub 3 is 0, 4, 3. So to find the triangle with the vertices, so the solution for this is let vector A x sub 2 minus x sub 1, and let the vector B x sub 3 minus x sub 1. So since our value of x sub 2 is 314, so we will minus it to the value of x sub 1, so which is 1, negative 2, and 3. So 3 minus 3, 1, 4 minus 1, negative 2, 3. So 3 minus 1, 1 minus negative 2, 4 minus 3. So the answer for vector A is 2, 3, 1. So for vector V, the value of x sub 3 is 0, 4, 3. So we will minus it or subtract it to the value of x sub 1, which is 1, negative 2, and 3. So 0 minus 1 is equals to negative 1. 4 minus negative 2 is equals to positive 6. 3 minus 3 is equals to 0. So our vector A, which is the 2, 3, 1, our vector B is negative 1, 6, 0. So to get the area of the triangle, we will use the formula which is area equals 1/2 times the cross product of A cross B. So since our vector A is 2, 3, 1, so we will put this one, and our vector B is negative 1, 6, 0. So to compute the A cross B, we use determinants as follows. So I times 3 times 0 is equals to positive 0i. J times 1 times negative 1 is equals to negative 1j. K times 6 times 2 is equals to 12k. Negative 1 times 3 times k is equals to positive 3k. 2 times j times 0 is equals to 0j. I times 1 times 6 equals to 6i. So combine like terms. So 0i minus 6i is equals to 6i, negative 6i. 1j minus 0j is equals to negative 1j. 12k plus 3k is equals to 15k. So the answer of A cross B is negative 6 minus negative 1 and positive 15. So now we will multiply it to 1/2. So since we already get the A cross B, the answer of A cross B, we will square root it to negative 6, square it to negative 6 to the power of 2 plus negative 1 to the power of 2 plus 15 to the power of 2. So the answer of negative 6 to the power of 2 is equals to 35, plus the answer of negative 1 to the power of 2 is 1. The answer of 15 to the power of 2 is positive 2 to 5. So 35 plus 1 plus 2 to 5 is equals to 261 rather. So if we will multiply it to 1/2 times the square root of 261, we get 8.077. So the area of the triangle with the vertices x sub 1, x sub 2, and x sub 3, the answer of that is 8.077. So next, number 4, another word problem, which is to find the area of parallelogram na punta. So find the area of parallelogram with the adjacent sides. X sub 2 minus x sub 1 is equals to I plus 35 ij minus 2k, and the x sub 3 minus x sub 1 is 3i minus j plus k. So first thing to do is to get the coordinate of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 and the coordinate of x sub 3 minus x sub 1. So the value that we get in x sub 2 minus x sub 1, we will call it the vector A. So 1, 3, and negative 2. And the value of that we get in x sub 3 minus x sub 1, we will call it to vector B, which is 3, negative 1, and 1. So to get the area of parallelogram, by using the formula given, area equals the vector of A cross B. So to compute A cross B, since our value of vector A is 1, 3, negative 2, so we will put this one. The value of B, which is the vector B, is a 3, negative 1, and 1, so we will put this one. So I times 3 times 1 is equals to 3i. j times negative 2 times 3 is equals to negative 6j. K times negative 1 times 1 is equals to negative 1k. So, next is 3 times 3 times k is equals to negative 9k. 1 times j times 1 is equals to 9, this equals to 1, negative 1j. I times negative 2 times negative 1 is equals to negative 2i. So, combine like terms. So, 3i minus 2i, negative 6j minus 1j, 1k minus 9k. So, 3i minus 2i is equals to 1i. Negative 6j minus 1j is equals to 7j. 1k minus 9k is equals to 10k. So next we will square root this one. So negative 1 to the power of 2 plus negative 7 to the power of 2, negative 10 to the power of 2. So the answer of 1 to the power of 2 is 1, and the answer of negative 7 to the power of 2 is 49, and the answer of negative 10 to the power of 2 is 100. So 1 plus 49 plus 100 is equals to square root of 150. The square root of 150 is 12.247. So the area of the parallelogram with the adjacent side of x sub 2 and x sub 1 and the x sub 3 minus x sub 1 is 12.247. So last world problem is to find the volume of the parallelepiped with a vertex at the origin and the edges x, where the x is 2i minus j and the y is I minus 2j minus 2k and z is 3i minus j plus k. So our vector A is 2, negative 1, 0. Vector B is 1, negative 2, negative 2. Vector C is 3, negative 1, and 0. And 1 rather. So solution, from the formula for volume above, so the formula is V is equals to C times A cross B. So first thing we do is to find the answer of the A cross B. So to compute A cross B, we use determinants as follows. So I times negative 1 times negative 2 is equals to positive 2i. J times 0 times 1 is equals to 0j. K times 2 times negative 2 is equals to negative 4k. 1 times negative 1 times k is equals to positive 1k. 2 times j times negative 2 is equals to positive 4j. I times 0 times negative 2 is equals to 0i. So combine like terms, 2i plus 0i, 0j plus 4j, negative 4k plus 1k. So 2i plus 0i is equals to 2i, 0j plus 4j is equals to 4j, negative 4k plus 3 plus 1k is equals to negative 3k. So the answer of A cross B is 2, 4, and negative 3. So now we will multiply it to the value of letter C, which is the 3, negative 1, and 1. So 3, negative 1 and 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 4 times 3, negative 3. So negative 3 times 2 is equals to 6. Negative 1 times 4 is equals to negative 4. 1 times negative 3 is equals to negative 3. So 6 plus negative 4 plus negative 3 is equals to negative 1. Since it is absolute value, and when it comes to absolute value, kung negative gani ang sasulod sa absolute value, ang absolute value ana is a positive. So the absolute value of negative 1 is 1. So that is the answer of my vectors, of my drill in vector RQ. So thank you.